In this video, I'm going to show you how to find the equation in slope-intercept form, that's what SIF stands for, from a graphical display. So first what I'm going to talk to you about is looking at the slope. And here, as my line goes from the left to the right side of my graph here, from my axis, I notice that it's going down, which means this graph is going to have, and the equation is going to have negative slope. And so what I'm going to do is count the slope, and I want to show you the slope triangle again, just kind of quick review that for how to use that triangle to find your slope. So from this point to this point, it went down 1, so down 1, and the run is 1, 2, 3, 4. So my slope triangle, my rise over run, well, this time it didn't rise, it fell 1 unit, and the run was 4. And so that's going to be my slope. I'm just going to draw an arrow there. My y-intercept would be the value of y where the graph touches the y-axis, which is this point here, which is at -1. And so my slope-intercept form with my slope of -1/4 and my y-intercept of -1, I can fill in this function mx plus b because I know my m and my b. So y is equal to -1/4 x and -1. Now in this picture over here, I notice that from the left to the right, the line is going upwards because it's moving from this point up and over. So it's going to have a positive slope. So let's actually count that slope. It goes up 1, 2, 3, 4. And it goes over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 units. So if I simplify that, because 4 over 6, I know we can reduce. Those are both even numbers. So if I divide this by 2, I get 2. Divide this by 2, I get 3, which means I'm going to double check there's another point on my graph if I had gone up 2 over 3. So up 1, 2 over 1, 2, 3. Yes, that is a point on my graph. And up 2 over 3. Yes, that is the other point on my graph. So my slope is 2/3. The y-intercept, which is the value where your line crosses the y-axis here, is at +1. And now I know my m and my b, so y equals mx plus b would be 2/3 x and +1. Now in the next video, I notice that the line that I have, here's my axis. This is the y-axis and this is my x-axis. Here's the actual line. It might be kind of hard to see if you couldn't picture that right away. I noticed that this is a horizontal line, and I have this phrase, HOI. Horizontal lines is the H. Horizontal lines have zero slope, that's the middle here, and y stands for the equation is going to be y equal to a number. Actually, that is not a horizontal line, so let me fix that. That is a vertical line, my mistake. Okay, let's fix that. So fix that, vertical. So this line would be a vux, and I'll explain what that means. Vertical line. Here's how I know I made a mistake. I couldn't get a y equals because it doesn't cross the y-axis. It crosses the x-axis, which is a vux. So x equals, notice where it crosses the x-axis is at 1. That's as simple as your equation is. And then we'll talk about slope here. It doesn't have positive or negative slope. It actually has undefined slope. And that's what that U stands for in the middle. A vertical line, that's the V, has undefined slope, that's the U, and the equation is x is equal to a number. That's what that stands for. So the y-intercept, there is none, which is why I knew right away then when I went to write my equation that I didn't have a y-intercept because my function is x equals, and this vertical line never touches the y-axis, so I couldn't create a function y equals. It has to be x equals. So that vux, that helpful phrase, hoi vux, I got a little mixed up, but we fixed it. Now in this picture over here, I notice that I'm given a couple points. Here's a point here. I actually have a point labeled there and there. So I'm going to start finding my slope, and I'm just going to start from first point to last point. So we went up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And our run is 1, 2, 3. So my slope, if we went up 6 and over 3, that would reduce to a slope of 2 over 1, which would be just 2. And then my b, my y-intercept, I notice that it crosses, this graph crosses the y-axis at positive 2. So I have a slope of 2 and I have a b of 2. So y equals mx plus b would be 2x for 2 slope and plus 2 for the y-intercept. And then these last two, let's see if I get this one right. So this is vertical. Hopefully I can get this one right. This is a horizontal line. Horizontal lines have 0 slope, and the equation is y is equal to a number. That's what that Hoy phrase stands for. And I know that y number, it's y is equal to the number 2. And then I have one more function over here from this point to this point here. I noticed that those were given. I'm going to count my slope. Go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we went up 6 and over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So if my slope was 6 over 6, that reduces to 1. And the y-intercept here, I can see my graph crossed at negative 2. So if I put those together, y is equal to 1x and a y-intercept of negative 2, we could simplify that because you don't really need to write 1x. We could just write y equals x minus 2. And this would be the best way to write that equation.